Hi everybody, welcome back to Jason Morgan Wildlife Art. Today I'd like to show you how I complete a tonal underpainting. It's a very simple process. I'm just using burnt sienna acrylic paint, and as it's acrylic I thin it down with just standard tap water. I like to make it very thin so that I can see the drawing and the pencil marks through it very clearly, so it does take quite a lot of water. And this drawing, this graphite drawing, which has gone straight onto canvas, has been sealed with some permanent pastel and pencil fixative, and that spray has been allowed to dry. Even so, you'll find that sometimes when you apply acrylic to a canvas, it doesn't seem to flow properly or adhere properly to the canvas. Now, whether that's due to a little bit of oil on the surface, perhaps from your hand when you've drawn, or something like that, I find that just scrubbing the paint in quite harshly takes that resistance away. And just a few horizontal strokes then just evens out the brush strokes. Acrylic dries much lighter, so I've gone a little bit darker here and just covered the whole of the canvas. And whilst this acrylic layer is still completely wet, I take some standard kitchen tissue and start to dap out some of the highlight areas. And this effectively gives me a very quick tonal underpainting. I turn the tissue quite frequently just so that I've got a new fresh area. I squeeze it to a point if I want to take away a more detailed portion. I usually start to remove the lightest lights, which are going to be the greatest highlights, because the paint hasn't dried and really stuck to the canvas at all yet, so they come away quite cleanly. And with the paint still being so wet, it will actually start to flow back into the areas again. So I will go over some of these areas and remove it whilst the area is still slightly wet. The reference photo that I'm using is just to the side of the video, so I'm glancing across and then looking for the highest highlights, just coming onto my canvas and removing those areas. Turning the kitchen roll just to get a nice clean section again. It's not critical that these areas are exactly right or to the edge that they need to be and things like that, because this is just the tonal underpainting, and I find this a much quicker way of doing a tonal underpainting rather than actually painting one and building up layers of paint. The acrylic paint dries over around about 10 minutes, so you need to be fairly quick with this process. Here I'm starting to go back into the area around the top of the eyes, just where it's flowed back in a little bit. If I don't want to remove too much paint, I'll leave the kitchen roll quite dirty. I won't use a clean area, and that's really just removing some of the acrylic paint then, rather than taking it all the way back to the white canvas. And as the acrylic is starting to dry onto the canvas now, it's starting to get a little bit more difficult to remove it all the way back. So it's now that I start to dab out the areas for the portions that don't need to be that white. If an area has dried a little bit more than you really want it to, you can still take it back almost to the white canvas by just taking a clean piece of tissue and putting a little bit of clean water on there, and then using that just to scrub very lightly, and that will take that excess acrylic off before it dries completely. Here I'm just starting to touch up a few areas. Just removing a little bit more of the acrylic paint, just to give the head and that little bit of body area just some more shape and form. And this will act as a real map for the future and the further oil layers that I'm going to put on once this is completely dry. Just taking a couple of small highlights out from the eye. Also dabbing in around the nose area. I hope you enjoy these short instructional videos on my YouTube channel, and just so you don't miss any of the future ones, please don't forget to click that little red subscribe button, which is towards the right hand side about a third of the way down on my channel page, and then you'll be kept informed and up to date every new video that I release. Just a few more areas I think I can just remove, just to give me a little bit of a better map to follow. But that's kind of the underpainting done now. And other than the application of the acrylic, I haven't used any brushes whatsoever, just the kitchen tissue. But I think you'll agree it does give a pretty good map to follow. It's quite a easy a quick way to do a tonal underpainting. And that just about completes it. Catch you all next time.